That beetle you crushed under your shoe last week was eating the slugs that were eating your tomatoes. The spiderweb you tore down this morning was catching the mosquitoes that bite you every evening. And that millipede you sprayed with pesticide because it had too many legs and moved in a way that made your skin crawl, it was breaking down the dead leaves in your soil into the exact nutrients your garden needed to survive. You just fired your 3 best employees, and you did not even know they worked for you. Your garden is not a collection of plants, it is a workplace. And every creature inside it, the ones that crawl, the ones that burrow, the ones that spin webs in places you would rather they didn't, has been assigned a job. A job it has been doing, in most cases, for millions of years before you planted your first seed. Today, we are going to walk through that workplace together, position by position, creature by creature. And by the end, I think you will understand why some of the most knowledgeable gardeners and naturalists in the country have made a deliberate decision to never kill anything in their garden again. Let's start underground. Beneath your feet, in the top 6 inches of soil, there is a workforce so large it is almost impossible to comprehend. A single acre of healthy garden soil can contain over 1 million earthworms. Those worms are not just sitting there, they are eating. They consume dead leaves, decaying roots, and organic debris, and as they tunnel through the earth, they process between 20 and 40 tons of soil per acre per year. Tens of thousands of pounds of earth, eaten, digested, and excreted as castings, so rich in nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and calcium that scientists have called them one of the most complete natural fertilizers on the planet. But the earthworm's job does not stop at fertilization. Every tunnel it digs becomes a channel for oxygen to reach plant roots, a channel for rainwater to infiltrate instead of pooling on the surface. A healthy earthworm population can create over 800,000 of these microchannels per acre. That is 800,000 tiny drainage pipes, built for free, maintained for free, operating every single day without a battery, a filter, or a service call. If your soil is dark, crumbly, and holds moisture without becoming waterlogged, earthworms are almost certainly the reason. If your soil is pale, compacted, and drains poorly, their absence is almost certainly the cause. Now, let's move up to the surface, to the layer between the soil and the open air, where dead leaves collect and organic debris accumulates. This is where the millipede works. Most people see a millipede and feel immediate unease. Too many legs. Moves in a way that triggers something instinctive. But the millipede is one of the oldest land animals on Earth. Its ancestors were among the first creatures to colonize dry land over 450 million years ago. And in all that time, its job has never changed. It eats dead things. Millipedes are detritivores. They consume fallen leaves, decaying stems, rotting wood, and fungal matter. Their powerful mandibles and digestive enzymes break down cellulose and lignin, the tough structural components of plant cell walls that most other organisms cannot process. In some ecosystems, millipedes are responsible for decomposing up to 10% of all the leaf litter in a given area. As they feed, they excrete castings rich in nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, nutrients that go directly back into the soil and become available to living plants. Without millipedes and their fellow decomposers, dead organic matter would simply pile up. Nutrients would remain locked inside plant tissues instead of cycling back into the ground. Your soil would slowly starve, and so would everything growing in it. Now let's talk about the creature most people react to with the most hostility, the spider. That orb weaver stretching a web between your tomato stakes is not decorating your garden. It is running a trap line. Orb weaver spiders consume roughly twice their own body weight in insects every single day. Their prey list reads like a catalog of everything a gardener despises. Aphids, flies, mosquitoes, leafhoppers, moths, beetles, wasps, caterpillars, and stink bugs. A single spider, stationed in the right location, provides continuous pest suppression across the entire area its web covers, without chemicals, without cost, and without a single day off. Many species of orb weaver rebuild their web every single night. They consume the old silk to recycle its proteins, then spin an entirely new structure by morning. Every web you tear down is a trap that was actively working for you. Every spider you remove is a pest control operator you just fired. Next, look at the ground beneath your mulch. Lift a stone. Turn over a piece of bark. If something dark, flat, and fast darts out from underneath, do not step on it. That is a ground beetle, and it is one of the most effective predators in your entire garden. Ground beetles belong to the family Carabidae, one of the largest beetle families on Earth, with over 40,000 known species. They are nocturnal hunters. They emerge after dark, moving fast on long, powerful legs, and they feed on slugs, snails, caterpillars, aphids, and the larvae of other insects. Some species, like the fiery searcher, will even climb trees to hunt caterpillars in the canopy. A single ground beetle can consume its own body weight in pests every single day. In agricultural studies, ground beetle populations have been shown to reduce crop damage by up to 40%. They do not bite humans. They do not damage plants. They do not eat your vegetables. They eat the things that eat your vegetables, and they do it for free every single night of the growing season. Now, look at your flowers. You will probably see something hovering in place near a bloom, suspended in midair like a tiny helicopter. You might assume it is a bee or a small wasp. Look closer. No stinger, no pollen baskets on the legs. That is a hoverfly, and it may be the most underrated creature in your entire garden. Adult hoverflies are pollinators. After bees, they are considered the second most important pollinating insect group on the planet. They visit flowers to feed on nectar and pollen, and unlike bees, they can fly and pollinate in cooler, cloudier conditions when bees stay inactive. But the hoverfly's real contribution happens in its larval stage. A female hoverfly lays her eggs directly on or near aphid colonies. When the larvae hatch, they begin feeding immediately. These larvae, small, legless, and nearly invisible on the underside of a leaf, are voracious aphid predators. They inject each aphid with a paralyzing secretion, then consume it from the inside out. A single hoverfly larva can eat hundreds of aphids before it pupates. In greenhouse studies, hoverfly releases have been shown to suppress aphid populations by over 90%. One insect, two jobs, pollinator by day, pest destroyer by birth, and most gardeners have never heard of it. There is one more creature that deserves your attention. You may have seen its eggs without knowing what they were. Tiny, pale, oval shapes perched on the tips of hair-thin stalks attached to the underside of a leaf. They look delicate, almost ornamental, like something that belongs on a piece of jewelry rather than a plant. Those eggs belong to the green lacewing. The adult lacewing is slender, pale green, with large, transparent wings and copper-colored eyes. It feeds on pollen and nectar and is mostly harmless. But its larvae are a different story entirely. Lacewing larvae are called aphid lions, and the name is not an exaggeration. They hatch from those stalked eggs and immediately begin hunting with a pair of curved, hollow mandibles that function like hypodermic needles. They seize an aphid, inject a paralyzing venom, and drain the body fluids. Then, they discard the empty husk and move on to the next one. A single lacewing larva can consume up to 600 aphids in 2 to 3 weeks. They also eat mites, thrips, whiteflies, small caterpillars, and the eggs of moths and beetles. Some species disguise themselves by stacking the dried carcasses of their victims on their own backs, creating a camouflage suit made of dead aphids to sneak past the ants that guard aphid colonies. If that is not one of the most extraordinary hunting strategies in the natural world, I do not know what is. So here is what your garden actually looks like when you stop seeing it as a collection of plants and start seeing it as a functioning ecosystem. Earthworms are building and fertilizing your soil from below. Millipedes are recycling dead matter back into nutrients at the surface. Ground beetles are patrolling at night, eliminating slugs, caterpillars, and larvae. Spiders are trapping flying pests around the clock. Hoverflies are pollinating your flowers and deploying aphid-killing larvae. Lacewings are running surgical strikes on aphid colonies with a precision that no chemical spray can match. Every single one of these creatures is doing a job that, if you had to pay a human being or a chemical company to do it, would cost you hundreds if not thousands of dollars a season. And they are doing it for free. All they ask in return is that you do not kill them. The next time you see something crawling in your garden that makes you uncomfortable, take 1 second before you reach for anything. Ask yourself one question. What is its job? Because almost every time, the answer will be the same. It is doing something you need done, something you cannot do yourself, something that has been keeping gardens alive for longer than humans have been planting them. That is not a pest. That is a colleague. And the smartest thing you can do is let it get back to work. If this changed the way you see your garden, tell me in the comments. What creature have you been removing that you now realize was helping you? I read every single one. And if you want to understand the one garden visitor that builds something even more extraordinary than a web or a tunnel, the next video is already waiting for you.